You are now listening to the fastest show on iSports Radio. My name is Darryl Kinsey Jr. welcoming you to the lap of extra mile for today, August 22nd, 2024. And the winning time has begun again as we are nearing the NASCAR playoff, the start of the NASCAR playoffs and the end of the IndyCar season. And to help me talk about all of this, of course, my co-hosts, Jenn B, Michael Ward, Christopher Lehman. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Well, it is so very nice to be back with you all once again. Unfortunately, I apologize for last week. I got COVID for the second time, so unfortunately we were unable to be together. You can still kind of hear him a little bit sniffly right now, but about 200% better than what I used to be. So we are going to go rocking and rolling this evening. And remember, follow iSports Radio on Twitter at iSports Radio. I'm at DK Jr. 12. Chris is at Fiji Sims. Michael at Michael_Wart25. And Jen at Believe Land Girl. So thank you all so much for joining us. Of course, before we go any further, we have to talk a little bit more about this wonderful station. And of course, thank our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet, and of course, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You can purchase both of those on iSportsRadio.com as well as from the iSports Radio shop. But before we get into the program, we're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back after this.
For the last 10 years, iSports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at iSports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iSportsRadio.com. At iSportsRadio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, iEsports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
And we are back here in the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. The band is back together this evening. I've got to see Chris and Michael in the last couple of weeks, so great to have them back. And we're going to go right along into the program by starting with a look back from last week, because we cannot get into Michigan before we go into whatever that was at the end of the race in Richmond. And I will start with Chris this time. What were your thoughts on whatever the hell Austin Dillon thought he was doing?
Probably the same as most people's, to be honest with you. It was dumb. It was purely reactionary. Like, I've not in real life, but I've definitely done the same thing in NASCAR heat, right?
I think we all.
We've all done that on NASCAR heat at least once.
It'd be really hypocritical of me to really say that that's an unethical thing, but when it's in real life, it's certainly an unethical thing to do. And I think that the repercussions were appropriate. We've said this before, when NASCAR kind of goes on and resets precedent to a degree, that we hope that it sticks. And I think they've this time, I think they've made such a bold statement that now they have to. I was a little disappointed that the spotter got his suspension reduced. I thought that his behavior was abhorrent, to just put it lightly. I thought that his comments were terrible, and he should have fulfilled that three race suspension.
Absolutely agree.
Just because that's not the type of thing that somebody should be saying. And for what it's worth, you're in the group chat, Darryl, with a couple other guys that are racing fans. And I said that looking back at Watkins Glen, even 3-4 years ago with William Byron, I don't remember whether it was his spotter or if it was Chad Knaus, but somebody told him to wreck. I believe it was Denny.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, not Denny. I believe it was Martin Truex Jr. He was told to wreck. And I didn't agree with that in the moment. I still don't agree with it. I don't think a spotter's place is to encourage a driver to wreck another driver. I think a spotter's job is quite literally the opposite of that. And then Joey Logano, that was completely boneheaded of him as well. I think his penalty should have been a little bit more severe. I get that it's in the moment, but pit road is not a place to be being like that. And NASCAR really needs to limit who is on pit road at the conclusion of a race, because it is absolutely unacceptable that there is a child small enough to be carried by their parents. That should not be happening on pit road.
There was way too many people on pit road at the end of that race in Richmond. And the thing that they did, because they knew Austin screwed up, is they took that damn baby out there and just shoved the baby in his hands, because nobody's going to beat his ass in front of 30,000 people if he's holding his baby girl. They did that because Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin were going to jump him like Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest almost jumped Dominic Mysterio in WWE Raw on Monday. Like, that man should have been in a 2-on-1 handicap match on the front stretch after that.
Yeah.
But they went out there and threw the damn baby in his hands so that he did not get the butt whooping he should have got. It was, and I've seen some finishes that have pissed me off. As far as NASCAR, that one took the cake. Because we all knew Joey Logano was going to finish that corner. We all knew Joey Logano was going to get spun, and he did. It was when he turned Denny Hamlin for me. He just hooked it to the right, did not give him a chance. And Hamlin takes the Earnhardt angle into the wall. They're lucky he didn't collect 2 or 3 other cars. It got absolutely obliterated. And then the spotter should have just been gone. Like, his season should have been done. You tell the guy to wreck somebody, and then Richard Childress has the gall to get up there like his bestest best buddy, who's not doing too well in the polls right now, talking about, oh, they doctored the footage, they doctored the audio. Really? Fox doctored the audio, Richard? NBC doctored the audio, Richard? That's the lie you're going to tell.
In the moment, too.
The minute it happened, you're telling me they doctored it. That's the lie you want to go with. Well, guess what? Just like your buddy in court a couple of months ago, you lost your appeal. And just like your buddy did 4 years ago in the courts, you're going to lose your appeal on Monday. So enjoy your grandson not being in the championship in the playoffs to be a first-round exit, unless by God's own humor, he somehow wins in Daytona, which I doubt, because if Joey Logano or Denny Hamlin are right behind him, they're going to recreate the Daytona 500 that Austin won, and they're going to right rear his behind right into the wall on the backstretch. And that is the least that he deserves, because every win that wannabe Dale Earnhardt Sr. punk has some sort of asterisk behind it. Michael, continue before I get myself in trouble.
Like, I'm trying not to laugh, but everything he's saying is like stuff I want to happen.
No. Let's go through it. Let's go through Austin Dillon's wins, because now I'm actually upset. He wins the Daytona 500 by absolutely destroying Eric Almirola on the backstretch. He then doesn't win again until Texas, where it was that awful race where the tires didn't wear. Him and Reddick just didn't pit for tires the rest of the race. They end up winning the race. He then goes to the Coke 600. Fuel mileage gamble. Look, I'm not going to go that hard on him. Anybody has a chance to do that.
Right.
Then we go back to Daytona a couple of years later. That race where NASCAR, whose building is right next to the dang racetrack, can't tell it's raining in turn number 1 in Florida in August. Piles up half the field down to turn number 1. Austin Dillon is left holding the bag, ends up winning the race. And now this. This man could not win a race on merit if it killed him. Okay? His game would be to win a NASCAR race on merit. And people have the nerve to stand in my face, to play in my face on Twitter and say, oh, well, Austin's only doing bad because everybody likes to rough him up. For what reason? He's 32nd in points. He ain't that good. He ain't the real 3. Y'all got the nerve to be acting like everybody playing with that boy. The only thing playing with that boy is a lead lap finish, because he can't do it. Lord.
But Darryl, Dale would have done the same thing.
Taryn's got your number, Darryl.
Don't tell me what Dale would have done. Half y'all didn't even like Dale till he died. I don't even want to hear that.
Oh my God, this is why we love Darryl. He gets on here and he spits facts.
So as you know, as you can see, this one's been eating at me since I've had COVID. So I haven't had the opportunity to get out everything I needed to say about this Austin Dillon situation. The only likable driver over there is Kyle Busch and Jesse Love. Those are the only 2 likable drivers over there at this point. RCR, they do it to themselves. We know how that team works. We saw what they did with Sheldon Creed last year. There's no respect over there from everybody, and it's I'm not surprised because they don't show respect to anybody else, and no one really respects them. But the Austin Dillon penalty absolutely deserved. Should have been a suspension, but Michael, I accidentally interrupted you. But
No,
so go
it's
ahead.
fine. But like I said, it's just how the team handled this
Mm-hmm.
is just so bad. I think that's the part that got me more than the actual wrecking itself.
Yeah.
Was just how the team just sat up there and handled it. It just wasn't good. Like, you have your spotter telling you to wreck him. It's bad enough you just dump the guy in going into turn 4. But then you just got your spotter in there like the devil on the shoulder saying, wreck him, wreck him, wreck him. Come on, wreck him, wreck him. You know you want to win, wreck him. And it's not good. And it doesn't look good for the sport. And I don't think it looks good I don't think it leaves a good impression on the younger people watching the sport. Because then they're going to see that and they're going to think, oh, that's okay. Oh, that's how they do it here.
Well, Jenn, Tyler Reddick actually mentioned that in an interview last week where he basically said, his kid is seeing that and think that's okay. And then Bubba Wallace, who's been running the summer shootout, he went over and had to have a conversation with the kid because he moved somebody in a way that he shouldn't have. And the kid responded, well, they're doing it in the Cup Series, so what's wrong with me doing it? The lower divisions are watching what the Cup Series does, and they start emulating it, and it's not that great.
That's how people die.
Yeah.
It's not a good look at all. And I was telling you earlier before we went live, I was watching highlights of the race and I was like, oh, this is over. And I was about to turn it off. And then the crash happened. I was, what the heck just happened? Like, what are we doing here? I don't understand it. If you can't win a race on your own merits with your own driving skills, then stay in the back of the pack and leave everybody else alone.
And the other issue here, we'll let Chris speak in a minute, but like the other issue I had was just what you said, losing a race on merit. He messed up the start. We all know this. He fired a little too late. Most drivers kind of fire early. He fired a little too late. And Joey got alongside him, got past him, and at that point he lost the race. But he couldn't take that. He drove it down and wrecked him. And that doesn't look, it really doesn't look good. I'm sorry. I know I keep saying it. It doesn't look good. This is a professional sport. This is a pro sport. You can't have that. It just really doesn't look good. And it's like, you might have some people questioning, are we professional drivers now out here? I'm saying we as if I'm in the driving street. I'm not. I'm clearly not. But, is this a professional sport now because we have driving like that? And we don't want that. We want everybody to think this is a very professional sport because it is indeed a very professional sport.
And I kind of want to correct myself because I do pride myself as a journalist in getting things correct. So I do want to correct this. Austin Dillon is not 32nd in points. He's 29th in points. So a whole 2 points higher recently. So congratulations there for old Austin. I got my point across that I'm not the biggest fan of him. Okay. So they'll have their final hearing on that. And whether it all matters is why we're going into let's go ahead and get into Michigan as that penalty is looked at on Monday. It was a tale of two fry boxes on Sunday for 23-11 as both of them decided to go in the McDonald's colors. Tyler Reddick ends up winning the race and puts himself in front by 10 points in the battle for the regular season championship, which ends at the Southern 500. On the other hand, Bubba Wallace, who at one point had the dominant car, unfortunately gets caught up because the greatest driver of all time self-spun on a restart.
I was hoping you would make that joke.
And ends up finishing 27th. You know, the guy that can beat Max Verstappen in equal equipment can't make the corner at Michigan on a restart. But Bubba falls back to 14th in points, is outside of the playoffs by 1.
Let me mute my mic.
Chris, this just follows a trend for the entire season for 23-11. Neither car can seem to be on top at the same time. You know, one car's usually running well, and the other just runs into a horrible bout of racer's luck.
Yeah, I feel like kind of since its inception, really, Darryl, we've been talking about 23-11 and their ups and downs. And, you know, I feel like as an organization, they really haven't hit that consistent, you know, not even just finishes. It's kind of throughout the whole race because, you know, they'll either be running towards the front, like running towards the front for at least the first, 75% of the race. And then suddenly, the pit crew just screws it up and then they finish in the 20s, or it's going to be the complete opposite where they're running, terribly, in the 20s or something. And then they just miraculously pull out this crazy strategy and put themselves right up towards the front. And it just seems like they very rarely put those two scenarios together and just have a really solid day. And then, stringing that together for multiple weeks. It just comes down to consistency, and they're still trying to work on it 4 or 5 years later.
Yeah. And Jen, that's the hardest thing for a race team trying to get to the top flight is getting that consistency number down.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they say practice makes perfect, but doesn't seem to be working out for them.
Jenn is no stranger to consistency.
What?
As a Cleveland Browns fan, that organization has been known for their consistency at the quarterback and head coach position.
Yes. The list is not long at all.
No, it's only been
It's
3
not in a
quarterbacks since
museum
2000.
even.
It's crazy.
I can't even participate in this joke. I'm a Washington Commanders fan. We don't even need to go through our dramatics. But
as a Bengals fan, we hold on to people way past longer than we should.
Yes.
Looking at you, Andy Dalton.
And Michael, it's one of those things where you look at 23-11 and you look at Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. They have gotten better. Sometimes the finishes don't show it, especially for that 23. We've talked about that one. But you can see that the building blocks are there for them to be that top flight team for whenever they add that third car, because we know they are looking for another charter eventually, if those even get approved.
Yeah, from what I saw at Michigan today, and maybe even a little bit of Richmond, they definitely do have the means to run up there with the front runners. I mean, of course, we see it. Tyler Reddick is leading the championship currently. But like Chris said, they just need to have that, that consistency on the track and as well as in pit road. I think one of the biggest factors, some people may agree with me, some people may not, is the pit road. I think the pit road has given them a lot of missed opportunities. And I think one day, if they have that dialed down, I think they'll be a regularly front-running team.
The pit, if they can get their pit stops to league average, they will be a top team at this point. I think they've got the drivers, they've got the equipment. They have not had the pit stops. They haven't always had the in-race adjustments, especially on the 23 car, to get it done. But I think they've got an opportunity at Daytona. Both these drivers are good super speedway racers. Daytona owes Bubba Wallace a couple at this point. Fingers crossed for Saturday night, I think, for everybody in the 2311 camp. Tyler Reddick should have had a walk away with this one, but NASCAR, yet again, after the race on Monday, after rain, yet again, gets involved, moves the conclusion from Sunday to Monday. Hit the button a little too early when Martin Truex Jr. hit the wall with 6 to go. This is about the third or fourth time this season where we've seen NASCAR kind of hit the caution button where it probably isn't needed. And it feels like, Jen, that they're kind of fishing for those green-white checker finishes that make great highlights, always don't make for the best race enders.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I was watching that one and I was like, why are we on a caution? Like, I get the race is almost over, but I think we can finish. What are we doing here?
It really didn't make any sense.
I don't understand it.
It really didn't make any sense because Truex hit the wall and kept going. I don't know if they saw something and thought he was more under power than he actually was. But Chris, it feels like, and a lot of folks have been saying it, that NASCAR's fishing for green, white checker finishes. I hope that's not what's happening here. Just let it play out.
I feel like they started fishing for green, white checker flags the day that they just made that this is how it is going forward.
Mm.
That's when they started. It's all about ratings. It's not really about the sport anymore. It's just about ratings. That's really all it is. They just want to get on SportsCenter. Well, SportsCenter's not even relevant anymore, so they just want to get on, on the socials.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even though, like the Austin Dillon thing, I showed it to some people at my work, right, who aren't necessarily race fans, and they were like, kind of like ticked off about it. They were like, "That's kind of, pardon my no, I'm not even gonna drop the F-bomb, but." Just casual people who aren't even fans. Let's just put it that way. And then, one guy who's kind of casually a fan, like if he's home alone without the wife and kids and it's on, he'll watch it, but he's not sitting down to watch it with the wife and kids home. He's just like that kind of like, that does not entice me to watch this. And so, these green, white, and checkers are great for social media engagement, but they're not really actually giving you a quality fan base that's going to spend money on your product. It's just getting you some flashy likes.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't stay around for those highlights, which I'm almost remiss to not bring this up, but Corey LaJoie, this poor guy, down the back stretch during the race on Monday.
He was doing so well.
He was actually doing decent for once and got into it with, I think it was Josh Berry in the 4. And it was one of the overstock cars. They run both of them at the same time. It's annoying. He came off the corner and made contact, slid down the track, and the car immediately flips over. It's like, okay, yeah, that's just how the year for this guy's been going. But, I mean, that's his career summed up in about 15 seconds. Corey was okay. They're going to have the shark fin mirrored on both sides of the rear, on the side of the rear window now as a rule change after that flip. But it's unfortunate, Michael, for Corey. That's just stacking pennies, stacking L's.
Yeah, it's how it goes. And the top, if you don't perform, you get booted down. So,
yeah,
stuff.
Well, all I'm going to say is get ready to learn the ARCA series, Bucko, because you are not coming back to any of the NASCAR Touring series. And one more before we go to break. This one actually broke earlier today. Denny Hamlin absolutely crushed by L2 penalty today. This is what I can just describe as a Toyota TRD screw up. The engine that they used at Bristol was torn down before NASCAR was able to inspect it. That's an automatic penalty. 75 driver and owner points, $100,000 fine for the crew chief, 10 playoff points taken away, and that win the win from Bristol does not count for Denny Hamlin to get into the playoffs. Now, Denny does have a win in the season, another win in the season that does count, but for Hamlin in his fight for the regular season championship, that's all but over.
Yeah. It's a pretty hefty penalty, too. Jeez.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, Denny has 3 wins on the season, winning at Richmond earlier in the year as well as Dover during the summer. And Jen, this is just an open and shut oversight from what it sounds like, and it just cost one of Toyota's heavy hitters big.
Yeah, that's a real bummer when the driver has to suffer because somebody didn't do their job right.
Well, it's similar to the Penske penalty in IndyCar earlier this year, which we're going to talk about on the other side of this, on the other side. But an oversight just absolutely obliterates your team's chance at a championship. I mean, Joseph Newgarden, because they had the wrong software in for the push to pass, went from an early championship favorite to he's been a non-factor for the championship all year. These unforced errors at this level cost so much, and unfortunately for TRD, they're learning the hard way. So we'll be right back. When we come back, it's a Daytona Saturday night, and could we see a driver outside the playoffs lock their way in? And who would win in a race, Kyle Larson or Max Verstappen? We'll talk about that on the other side of this break here on the Extra Mile on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy Lentarius Law.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you looking for a sports show that maybe isn't 100% about sports?
Then you might want to check out the Sports Couple Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Most sports shows cover only scores and stats, and while we're not opposed to that, we dig a little deeper into sports issues and some of the hottest topics in athletics.
In addition to sports, we take a journey through my neck of the woods, pulp culture, with movie reviews of both sports and non-sports films.
Speaking of pop culture, make sure to participate in our game nights, where we quiz each other on our specialties, and you, the listeners, can win IE Sports Radio apparel.
We always have a great time learning more about each other's worlds, one show at a time.
So join us each week on the Sports Couple Perspectives, right here on IE Sports Radio, your directory for all that is sports.
We are back here at the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Darryl, Chris, Jenn, and Michael here with you this evening. We'll go ahead and get into, well, we were going to get into NASCAR Daytona, but something just popped up into our list that I kind of want to jump to first, which is apparently Scott McLaughlin, everyone's favorite Aussie supercar driver turned IndyCar racer, has kind of been getting himself engrossed into American culture. Apparently, he is now watching the Jersey Shore in the year of our Lord 2024. And I'm legitimately...
It's all over his Twitter.
And I'm legitimately certain everybody in that show is married with kids now. Chris, what is going on with this?
Just go to his Twitter feed. Legitimately, just go to his Twitter feed and scroll, and it is all Jersey Shore and one comment about the Max versus Kyle debate.
Where he said he really
does not care, with all due respect. But just scroll. He wrote notes about season 2. 22 hours ago.
He's really into it.
Oh my God, I've got to show you all this.
It's Jersey every day for him. I was all about Jersey too.
So this is what Scotty Mac's been doing while going out to Portland.
It goes back too. Like I'm back. I was scrolling back through and like August 19th. Next episode looks wild. Love Island now though. Like it is just.
Wait, he's watching Love Island?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a picture of his old Wilson Security supercar as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, as you see, he's getting people watching it too.
We love Scott McLaughlin.
Like I kind of want to go back and watch it now too. There you go. It's just wild. It's 2024. And I just need to scroll back through and find out why he decided that he was going to watch Jersey Shore of all shows to watch.
Scott McLaughlin currently 5th in the points and gigantic Snooki fan.
And
did not have that on
hearts.
My bingo card. Yes.
5th in points, 1st in our hearts.
Yes.
I actually saw a TikTok about Jersey Shore the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It was about remembering historical sites of American history, and someone was standing outside of the beach house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. This is all he's been doing this week is Jersey Shore.
Yeah. He's motoring through it too.
Yeah. He's on season 3 now.
August 19th, he finished season 1, and then it's 3 days later, and he finishes season 2. I mean, this guy is binging.
He's everyone's favorite Kiwi, and if you say he's not your favorite Kiwi, you're wrong. Scott McLaughlin. Hopefully he does great in Portland, and hey, maybe we can get some Jersey Shore merch out to him.
Hopefully we get some quotes. If he wins,
yes.
Get some quotes out of him.
As long as he doesn't do a duck face, we're all good.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, God. Okay, moving right along from that mental image. We're going into Daytona this Saturday night for the Coke Zero 400, which it is not supposed to rain on Saturday evening. It is also Florida in August.
Yes, so it
God
will
only
rain.
knows what's going to happen. Other than the fact that the rain is completely unpredictable, it's extremely hard to predict a winner for a super speedway race, especially a race at Daytona. And Michael, we'll start with you this time. This is one of the few tracks where you can genuinely say on the schedule anyone has a chance to win.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody has a good chance to win this race. There are a few people out here on the field that are definitely better at road course. I said road course racing. At super speedway racing than others. So we'll see about that. They usually can turn up there. So it's definitely going to be fun to watch. I still can't believe I said road course racing.
Well, there was that one year where we did have this race as a road course. I think that was actually during the COVID-19 where you were just doing whatever. But I think 39 cars have a chance to win. Unfortunately, the Live Fast car will not be one of them. But this is a place where a lot of drivers outside of the traditional, I'd say top 20 in points that you expect to be up there for a win, really have a chance. And this is where Austin Dillon could lock his way in legitimately. I doubt that. Zane Smith could lock himself in. Corey LaJoy, who's hunting for a job. What a win would do for his stakes in NASCAR. And even Harrison Burton, who I think we all agree he's racing for his NASCAR life. I don't know where he's going after this, after how poorly his stint in the Cup Series has gone. If he can pull off a win and get in the playoffs, Chris, he could secure himself at least a decent truck ride for 2025.
Wow, I really forgot about him.
I think we all did.
That's crazy.
Chris, you're muted. Okay, Chris.
Sorry, wrong button.
You're good.
Sorry, I'm trying to type and tweet stuff out. So, basically, I was saying, yeah, I can see that. That's the gist of what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, definitely faded into oblivion.
Yeah. On the other side, anytime we come to a super speedway, Jen, there are three words that strike fear in everybody. The big one.
Oh, yeah.
When will it happen?
Oh, yeah.
Where will it happen?
Well, I mean, they just need to keep Austin Dillon out of everybody's way.
I was going to say, when I'm at a super speedway, the words I don't want to hear are Ricky's behind you.
I think the drivers you don't want behind you in a late race situation at a Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta is the 3, the 6, or the 22, or the 47. If those four cars are behind you, you're not finishing the race.
Just pull over to the side like you're on the freeway and let the faster cars by.
Yeah. Those four are more than likely going to be the ones to cause the wreck. And unfortunately, it'd be that way, especially because Keselowski is the king of the horrible blocks at super speedways, and I don't get it.
And then he also, anytime someone blocks him, he complains about it.
Yeah, he complains about it. He wrecked Bowman that one time. God, what year was it?
No, it was Byron.
It was Byron, I think 2019 in practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go to that race, but it rained. But he wrecks him in practice, talking about, well, you got to show people that they're not supposed to race like that. I think that day on Sunday, he just absolutely annihilates half the field with just a horrendous block. So
that, or somebody had enough of Dillon and they just punt him.
Yeah, and I mean, he's pissed off enough people. But seriously,
he
though,
off one driver that will punt you no matter what, and the other one who, if you piss him off enough, he'll definitely punt you. So yeah, there's a high chance he's getting punted.
Yeah,
he'll be in. I think this will be a worse scenario. I'm sorry to cut you off, Darryl.
No, keep going.
You know how when it's late race and like the driver tries to stick out a line to make a move and nobody follows him?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Dillon.
That's how it is. But as we know with these plate races, the first 80% of this race is going to go by at record speed we're going to hit 20 laps to go, and it's going to take 2 hours to finish this race because everybody's going to be scrapping and clawing and causing wrecks because this is one of the last opportunities to get into the playoffs. Usually this is the last opportunity, but due to the Olympic break, a lot of things got changed around, so we'll be wrapping up at the Southern 500, but this is one of the few races where everybody's got a shot and everybody's going to try it on Saturday.
Survive optional.
Yeah. A lot of folks just going to turn their brains off when we get to about 25 to go, and it's going to be it's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's not going to be the cleanest NASCAR racing we've seen, which given the last couple of weeks is saying something, but damn if it's not going to make some highlights.
And then we all say this, and then none of what we talked about happens.
It'll be the first cautionless race.
We've hyped this up.
At Daytona, that's crazy.
We're going to jinx it, and the only caution is going to be the stage cautions. That's usually how this show goes. So who knows how this race is going to go. It's not supposed to rain. God only knows what the rain's going to do. Here's what's going to happen. Bubba Wallace is going to be leading this race with 5 to go, and it's just going to be a monsoon on the backstretch because that's just what his luck is, and it takes everybody out. So that's my prediction for the Coke Zero 400. We're not even going to begin to pick winners because it's not even going to matter. Like, you're a degenerate if you bet on this race this weekend. Good luck to you. I would find the long shots, put some money on. Hey, you might be happy, you might not. Just have fun with it. Don't put any money out there that you are willing to lose. This is not gambling advice. Just take it easy out there, y'all. But there's going to be also IndyCar racing this weekend, GP of Portland. And going into it, Penske has an issue with at least a perception of favoritism. If you saw Gateway, which was actually a really fun race on Saturday night, late race caution, I kind of saw half of it because I was like down half a bottle of NyQuil because COVID. And what happened is there was a late race-ish incident where Newgarden was bringing the field back to green, was a little bit slow, caused a stack up. Will Power got involved. He flipped the double birds to his teammate. He did not get a penalty. By he, I mean Newgarden. And that causes the favoritism debate because guess who owns the series and the only track that matters in IndyCar? Roger Penske. And it's unfortunate because all of this, Michael, started on the wrong foot when Penske had that massive cheating scandal at St. Petersburg.
Yeah, this is where this whole rumor started, and it's just kind of boggled down into now, and it's just kind of gotten worse, Darryl, if you ask me.
I don't know how you get away from it at this point. I understand Roger thought he had a way to make the sport better by going from being a team owner to running the whole show. He divested from the day-to-day running of the team. But, Jen, it's like one of the commissioners of the NFL, the commissioner of the NFL becomes Jerry Jones. Like, Jerry Jones becomes the commissioner of the NFL. It's hard. Yeah, I'm going to put that horrible image in your head.
Paul.
Yeah. It's hard when one of the guys that owns the team playing the game owns the sport.
Yeah, Jerry Jones being the commissioner of the NFL, that would be interesting. There would be a cap on everybody's salary.
Yeah,
nobody's getting paid.
With that one. Oh Lord.
Oh.
Poor CD Lamb. but yeah, back to Roger. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, the conflict of interest there is it's always going to breed rumors, whether they're true or not.
I think the worst part is just that they're rumors and that nobody knows if they're true or not, like Jen said.
I think this could have been solved if Roger was a bit more public with the divestment. Let's say, and I was thinking about this before we came on the air, maybe he goes to Tim Cindric and says, look, I'm going to sell you the controlling stake of the IndyCar team for $1, just as a symbolic gesture to show I have no day-to-day running with what's going on over here. It's all on you. And I think that would have been better, but this is going to be, Chris, something that dogs this team anytime they do well, because the guy that owns it also owns the series.
Yeah, I think we anticipated that, didn't we, Darryl? How do you not take that view as a fan? Yeah, that was obviously something he had to have considered before he purchased it. But yeah, it's a very natural reaction for people to have, and I don't know. You either accept it or you don't. I guess it's one of those things. I accept it, that it's a little screwy that somebody can own the series and a team in the series. I don't like it, but it's not going to ruin the series for me. So I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight necessarily.
Yeah. It'll be what it be, unfortunately, and you just hope that somewhere they can get this situated to where they're not having to dodge these rumors. But I think the best part, ironically, is that none of their drivers really have a chance for the championship at this point as we head into Portland. Alex Palou leading the way, 443 points to Colton Herta's 384. Herta mathematically still has a shot at it, but Chris, Alex Palou, he seems to have stolen some of Scott Dixon's mojo here. He is becoming the dominant power in the IndyCar series, and I think minus a serious issue this week, he's cruising into Nashville to claim another Astor Cup.
Yeah, and it feels like just 3 races ago we were talking about what a good title fight it was going to be. We couldn't really call it either way. We could make cases for 3 drivers basically. We could make an argument for them to win. But I agree, you're right. Depending on how things go this week, cruising into Nashville might feel pretty good. And assuming things don't go terribly this week, I'd be going to Nashville feeling pretty darn good.
After this race at Portland, we'll have 2 races at Milwaukee and then the Nashville GP, which will be held on the Oval this year to wrap up the season. Michael, the IndyCar season, or the IndyCar series, they have the shortest season of all the series we cover here. Always exciting when they're on the track. And I think this season has delivered plenty of drama on and off the track this year. But sure, Alex Palou has risen above it.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's done it again. Yeah. And I think we're kind of in this era of we have 2 generational talents. And it's just been a joy to watch them go to work. I'm not even gonna lie.
Well, the best part is this generational talent doesn't have another lawsuit on his hands. So
oh yeah, he's been lost. Actually, hold on, the year's not over yet. But
good point. The season's not over. He could get another contract lawsuit before this year ends.
Let's hope he's knock on wood there.
He's collecting them things like the Infinity Stones, I swear.
But yeah, it's just like I was saying, it's just him versus I'm sorry, Jen. But him, Verstappen, it's the level of dominance I've just been seeing from them is just astronomical. So
Yeah.
just
So
gonna be
as we get ready to wrap up, we have to have this conversation again. If you've been around Twitter, for those of us that still stay there for whatever reason at this point, you may have seen this conversation, or you've even been on TikTok, you may have seen this conversation. Kyle Larson made mention that he could probably beat Max Verstappen in better equipment. Well, officially, he said that he's the better driver compared to him and Max Verstappen. And anytime NASCAR drivers have any sort of confidence about themselves, the Europeans come out and we hear a lot of flack from them about how NASCAR drivers aren't that great. You know, I was going to stand up for Larson, but then Michigan happened. I don't even want to ask the question, who do we think is going to win? Because we're never going to see them in equal machinery.
all right. I know how we can settle this.
Mm-hmm.
iRacing, Mazda MX-5. What track is pretty good for this? Watkins Glen. 1v1.
Let's keep Larson away from iRacing.
Oh, right. I just remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we remember the last time he was doing a charity event on iRacing. It didn't go that well.
And what's funny is, like, everybody's like, well, Max doesn't know how to drive stock cars. And I'm like, he messes with NASCAR on iRacing, I guess you can say that's his only disadvantage. It's not the real thing, but like he kind of knows what to do. I mean, the man can literally drive anything.
I mean, it just goes back to this, Chris. I wish a lot of these F1 drivers at the end of their careers would come run NASCAR, like what Juan Pablo Montoya did. Like, Verstappen is basically Formula One Nikola Jokic right now. You posted something in the Discord that was hilarious, where a reporter asked Verstappen if he was going to do
This is your 200th start. Do you see yourself doing 200 more? And he just said no. Like, everybody knows that Max hates Formula One, and he just can't wait to not be there anymore. Right? He's got some trauma from his dad that he's trying to get past. So his dad he feels bad for his dad, who's not even reliving, he's living his dreams out through his son.
Yeah.
And then Max is going to go off and just play iRacing because that's all the kid cares about.
No, I think when it comes to Max, I feel like he would start like his own team.
Yeah, Team Redline.
Well, he started his own iRacing team,
well,
but that's about
actually,
it.
Redline I think Redline was a thing before Max joined it, and then you just kind of,
took it over.
Yeah, Max Verstappen effect.
Well, he's working on the GT3 class. He's building a team there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that would be what he puts after he's done with Formula One, he just puts his efforts in there. And I've seen him race GT3. He's really good. Well, it's Max Verstappen, of course he is. But
I'm pretty sure I've seen him race Talladega in trucks too.
I did too. That's why I was like, I'm pretty sure
we've got to get him to NASCAR to run Talladega in the trucks.
I'm pretty sure he would know how to drive a NASCAR with Kyle Larson around. Yeah, I would like to see Max try GT3. I would love to see a GT3 fan team. I think I'd instantly become a fan. And if he does IMSA, I think I would also instantly become a fan.
Yeah. And I mean, I think him and Larson could run these cars. I think Larson could do relatively well in GT3. I think that, I don't know, he's never going to get into a Formula One car, so we're not even going to have the conversation, but I think he could do well in any car that he puts his mind to. And there's a lot of like, I can't even tell if it's a one-sided beef between Formula One drivers and NASCAR drivers. I think it's more of a fan beef.
Yeah,
More than
because in my
anything.
opinion, it's like saying who's better. It's like, well, they actually have different kind of attributes that make them phenomenal. So it's like it's kind of hard to say who's the best. I mean, statistically, we put Formula One as the best motorsport in the world. So a lot of people are gonna say Max is the best. But it's like in America, we don't think Formula One is the best, so we're gonna say Larson is the best.
Well, I think it says something that when Kyle Larson was asked about it, he went off on this tirade about how Max couldn't race dirt and that he'd smoke him basically in everything but an open wheel car. And then Max got asked the same question, and he goes like, every driver's good at something different. Like, I'm not any good racing dirt. And he just completely brushed off the question, which I tweeted like 3 days before. I said, if Max gets asked the same question, he's going to brush it off and be highly complimentary of Larson. And then what does Max do? Literally brushes off the question and is complimentary of people that are better than him.
Chris, when he says I'm not the best at dirt, I really feel like
dude's hiding something, and he's about to crawl out of the woodwork, and we're just gonna see him show up to Knoxville with a Team Redline car, and he's just gonna just win that thing.
Like he says, not the best, and we've seen not the best from Max still able to win a freaking race. So I'm just like, what do you mean by that, Max?
Max Verstappen into the Chili Bowl. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'd be about it.
So it's going to be a lot of fun racing coming up this weekend. Make sure you check all of it out. We're going to have a lot of fun. I will not be as congested next week as we roll on to the end of the season. Just want to call out the season finale for the Extra Mile this year will be November 14th, 2024. So make sure you have that on your calendars as we get ready to wrap up another incredible season as championship time is right around the corner. Well, the checkered flag is out for this edition of the Extra Mile. For Jenn, Chris, and Michael, I'm Darryl. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you at the next green flag. Good night, everybody.